Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Archbishop John Rose Jones Jr. Coming to you again with another live um, uh, podcast, Bishop's Words of Wisdom. Thanking God for each of us that's still here in the land of the living. Just saying hello to my um, YouTube family. Thank God for you. Um, don't forget to like and subscribe um, before you do anything. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content and enjoying the words of wisdom that we're dispensing, the wisdom that we're dispensing. Please like and subscribe to us. First, I do want to mention I did hear the death of one of our old Miracle Temple um, young ladies. She's a few years older than me. First lady of church there in Pittsburgh, where um, not in Philadelphia, where we grew up, but it's in Pittsburgh. So, um, Sister First Lady Paulette Davidson passed away. She made a transition, I believe, about 10 days ago. I believe her service is going to be on this coming Friday um, there in the city of Pittsburgh. Want to express our condolences to her, to her family, um, to my big brother and sister, Pastor Barry Story, who were good friends, families, Pastor Barry Story and his wife, Dr. Melinda Story. Want to express our condolences to them and as well as the family, um, and let them know that we're praying for them. We um, want to talk about something today. Um, have a subject in mind that we want to talk about, um, and that is our actions. Our decisions, our actions and our decisions have consequences. Today, I was watching the January 6th um, committee, and the two gentlemen that they brought before the committee to answer questions. One is a former member of the Oath Keepers. Another one was just an ordinary citizen that showed up on January the 6th. Um, the ordinary citizen is a former, now he calls himself a former uh, Trump supporter, and the other person's was I guess he was a scribe. In other words, he wrote a lot of articles. He had was a member of the Oath Keepers until it just got so ridiculous. Um, until that, until he made the decision to resign. He made the decision not to buy into what they were talking about, not to buy into the lie, in any of it. So, and as I watched the um, hearing today, it dawned on me, if I had both of these or either of these gentlemen in front of me, I would just love the opportunity to ask them, did you not know or did you not think that your actions would have consequences? That somehow that you would be held accountable for your actions. Then I thought about it. I said, wait a minute. I said, our former president has not been held accountable for anything ever in his life. He's always skated. He's always uh, gotten, or just gotten past, gotten through whatever he's tried to do. He's always gotten away with it. And I thought about there was a former gangster named John Gotti, and they called him Teflon Don, and he got away with things. I mean, for years and years and years. And finally, one day they caught up with him, and he was placed in prison and eventually um, passed away, died in prison. Which, if I would have to go, I would say I would rather go earlier in life and not later in life, because when you go earlier, you have an opportunity to get out. You have that opportunity to then make amends. You have an opportunity to rebound. You have an opportunity to live out your last days, um, uh, and just live your last days in peace and not behind bars. So I thought about it. I said, "Wow, okay, these." their actions having consequences. Okay, so um, the Bible instructs us to count up the costs before we do anything. It instructs us to count up the costs. So one of the things that uh, us as parents, us as grandparents, whoever you are, aunts, uncles, we have to be able to train, teach our kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, have to be able to talk to them with regards to their actions having consequences. So I, I, I saw that law enforcement had identified one of the uh, gentlemen today that was testifying today. They had identified him, and they said to him, they said, "We had identified you as one of the people who had entered the Capitol illegally." And then they asked him, they said, "Well, how has your life changed?" And he said, "Well, I lost my job. He said, I sold my house." He didn't come out and say whether or not he was forced to sell his house, but if he lost his job, I guess us using deductive reasoning, he probably was in a position where he had to sell his house. But he said his life is not the same, and it's not better, but it's worse. Okay. So what does that mean? That means that he hadn't thought about the fact before he left. He said he's in Northern Ohio, but he hadn't thought about his actions before he left Northern Ohio. He said he was just so ramped up on the big lie in the president's words. Okay, I don't want to get hung up on that, but one of the things that we have to do as people, and this is mainly to the younger crowd. This is mainly to those younger people. If they're in the room or if they're near you, call them in. Call them into the room, sit them down, and let Archbishop Jones talk to them for a minute. Consequences. Um, I believe I mentioned my cousin. Uh, maybe within the first podcast or the first two podcasts, I mentioned my cousin. Um, had a cousin who I loved dearly. Um, he approximately, I'll say, he was approximately 3 years older, maybe 4 years older than me, and loved him dearly. He was a member of the fourth largest gang in Philadelphia, and hardcore gangster, and one of his homies, and I say that um, reluctantly, one of his uh, gang members, one of his, I call him his fellow gang members, came to him with the proposition of asking him, "Okay, can I use your gun?" My cousin replied, "Hey, where my gun go, I go," and hence they went and he assisted in the robbery. Robbery went wrong. The fella had his gun. He shot the owner of the house that was having some kind of get together, some kind of party. Owner died. The only one that was really caught was my cousin. My cousin, being hardcore gangster, wasn't going to tell. Never told who really committed the crime. Ended up in jail doing 45 years in jail for a crime that he didn't commit. Okay. Consequence. Um, uh, my former pastor used to make a statement all the time, Elder Dr. Fred Tillman here in Michigan. Used to make a statement all the time. And the statement that he made is that one act can mess up a lifetime. How true? How true that was? How true that is? You can do one thing. Young people, children, young adults, teenagers, um, adolescents. You can do one thing, and it jack up your entire life. You can take and pull one robbery and get life. Because maybe the robbery went wrong, fella pulled out a gun, you shoot, you kill, they put you in jail for life. Let me be very honest, my cousin really never lived life. Didn't. Never lived life. He was released on compassionate release year, last June. We got him out on compassionate release, beginning of June. Uh, by August, he had passed away. By August, he had passed away. He was gone in August because the compassionate release meant that you have a disease, you have a terminal disease, compassionate release. Now, let me tell you what compassionate release really means. It means that we don't want to pay for your funeral, we don't want to pay for your burial, we don't want that expense. So we're going to release you so your family can pay for all that. Like, realistically, that's what it is, and that's what took place. Um, so he was out. He spent, like I said, approximately 2 months, 60 days. He got to see a lot of his so-called homies, and they had, there were times where he went to, I believe, two other funerals, and he was able to go to those funerals, go to those events. There was a guy that one of his fellow homies that was in there with him for 39 years, um, in prison with him, and he's been out. He got released several years ago, and he's living life. He's on Facebook. He's on Facebook in California, in Vegas. I saw something on Facebook several days ago. Last time I may have been on Facebook, he just got a new job. He's living life to the fullest. He's having a ball. Okay, so our actions have consequences. So, um, several years ago, I made the statement that if you can deal with your face being sprawled all over the internet, do it. I'm not talking about in the good way, I'm talking about in the bad way. If you can deal with your face being placed on the front page of the Detroit Free Press, Detroit News, or even the USA Today paper, and it's all over the country for something that you did crazy. If you can deal with that, do it. If you can't, then don't do the crime, because if you do the crime, if you commit the crime, these days, um, uh, honestly, there's virtually no escape these days, because a good friend of mine who passed away now, who was a member of the Secret Service, special agent in the Secret Service, and he said one day he said to me, he said, "Look," he called me Brother John. He said, "Brother John," and I had known him since he was 5 years old up until the time he passed. And he said, "Brother John," he said, um, "we have people on our side that are just as smart." He said, "We have people on our side that are just as slick." He said, "We have people on our side that's working for us that are just as cunning as these criminals are." He said, "And we're going to catch you." He said, he said, "Tell your people, man, we're going to catch them. We're going to do what we need to do to catch them. We're going to catch them. We're going to put them in jail. They're going to go to prison." Okay, so your action has a consequence. So your action, either you will have a reward, or receive a reward, or your action will have a consequence. So I'm saying to you, young people, think it all the way through before you do it. Before you pick up that gun, think it all the way through. Okay, and some of you may be thinking, well, I will turn around and I will kill this person because I'm not going to leave any witnesses. These days, there are cameras everywhere. There are cameras on all these street corners. There are cameras. Um, uh, 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 Look, a parking meter. And I have to laugh because I'm sure my wife is watching. She's laughing because a few days ago we went shopping. Our convocation is coming up, which I'll announce in a little while. Convocation is coming up, so we were in Hamtramck, and we pulled up to the. I pulled up. It was an empty space. Now my wife said, "Well, you can't park here because they have these computers here, and go down to the free lot, and then I'll call you when I'm ready." Oh, man, I'm not doing all that. Okay, I'm okay, right? So yesterday when the mail came, it was from Hamtramck. Uh, uh, I guess the police department. I know she. And before she opened it, she said, "I told you." I told you. Well, opened it up, and there's a ticket in there for $25. Okay, now I have a clean driving record. I'm gonna pay the ticket. But I said, "Wow." Okay, so I thought about it. So my action had a consequence. Okay, me saying, "Not gonna worry about it." Okay, that's really not a computer sitting over there. I'm good. They won't. Okay, so I guess they took a picture of my license plate. Hey, that's John Jones. We're gonna send it to John Jones that lives on whatever street, and we're gonna send it to him. And they sent it to me, and now I have to pay $25 before August 1st. Okay, guess what? Me not listening, me not paying attention, me not listening to my help me. Okay, had a consequence. What's the consequence? got to pay $25, right? So, I'm gonna take care of $25. Okay, but what I'm sharing is that my action. So what Bishop Jones did, Bishop Jones, thinking that okay, this I don't believe that it is what it is. So now I have to go in my pocket and pay $25. Okay, it's the principle of the thing. Had I taken a different action, y'all hear that? Had I taken a different action, I would not have to pay the $25. But I took an action that had a consequence. What's the consequence? The consequence is that I have to pay $25. Okay. Do I have the $25? Absolutely. Am I going to pay the $25? Absolutely. But it taught me a valuable lesson. What did it teach me? That next time I take my wife shopping over there, I'm not going to park there. Or if I do park there, I'm going to pay the fee, going to put my credit card in the machine, pay the fee, and that way it will automatically record. I'm going to avoid that particular consequence. Okay, so here you are, uh, 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 young people. You have to be able to think of the consequence that your actions. Okay. So if you go with a group of guys, if if they say, hey, y'all, we're gonna knock somebody in the head. Oh, hey, I'm out. Why? Catch up with y'all later. Why? Because I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to spend. I don't want to spend my teenage years in juvenile. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to spend my adolescent years in my 20s or whenever in jail. I don't want to go to jail for doing something that we're going to get caught because there are cameras everywhere, cell phones everywhere. We're going to get caught. They have these sophisticated computers now that that will show what we're doing and that they'll be able to pick all of us out. They're going to come to my house, pick me up. I'm going to jail. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so the consequence that I will have to pay is not worth the $100 or $200 that we may get from robbing somebody. Back in Philly, there were a group of gentlemen. They robbed a gas station up on 50. There was a gas station on 58th and Whitby years ago. Before I think now some kind of store there, but years ago there was a gas station there, and one of the guys that I knew that was friends or a neighbor of one of my boys, they robbed that particular gas station, and it came out in the paper that each one of them, I think it was either three or four of them, got less than $5. Okay, so one of the brothers went to jail. I think all of the brothers may have gone to jail. Okay, so you're going to jail, and you got less than $5 out of the robbery. Uh, Consequences. Okay, and when I heard about that, I said, "Man, that was dumb. That's one of the dumbest things that you could do. Come on, now let me share this with you. I always and this was always has always been my saying. I have always said that if I'm going to go to jail for committing a crime or go to jail for doing anything is going to be for trying to knock over Fort Knox. Okay, Fort Knox was in Fort Knox, Kentucky. I believe that's where they used to keep a lot of the nation's gold there. So there's millions, if not billions, of dollars that was stored at this particular military facility. And so I always said that if I'm gonna go to jail, I'm gonna make it worth my while going to jail. In other words, if my paper has to be on the front page, if my picture has to be on the front page of a paper, then I'm going to be on the front page, just posing, just saying, okay, look. In other words, I tried it, but it's worth my while. It's not, I'm not gonna get less than $5, and then sitting up doing time in the federal penitentiary for knocking over a federal facility. Not going to do that. So I was going to make it worth my while. Um, so you have to be able to count up the cost because the consequence that you're going to pay, and there's going to be a consequence. And so young people, avoid people that want to commit crimes. Please avoid people that want to commit crimes. Avoid people that want to knock people in the head. Avoid people that want to steal. Avoid people that want to take the easy way, even in school. Even in school, um, uh, do what you're supposed to do. If I had it to do all over again, even going through high school, if I had to do all over again, okay, I would sit in the front of the class and do everything I'm supposed to, get all the assignments, and then that way, I would have had additional options. I had options coming out of high school, but I didn't have enough options. I would have had more options coming out of high school, and would have sat in the front of the class and not really cared about what's being said about me, um, and not really been concerned about the people in the back of the class who wanted to clown, wanted to do things. No. So by not doing that, then sure, I finished high school, never was left down, thank God. Never left back, thank God. Left behind or whatever. But I still paid consequences for not getting, say, a perfect report card. Consequence that I had to pay. Had I done it and had the ability to do it, had the ability to get all A's, but just didn't do it. So honestly, it bothers me. And now I have not only children but grandchildren. So not only have children but have grandchildren. And so now I think of my grandchildren who, and one of the things that I try to tell them is that I share certain things with them as their grandmother does. Share certain things with them as their parents share certain things with them. Sister Miko and I, who's our producer here, her and I just got finished talking, and we share things because I believe sometimes our parents, grandparents, or our kids rather, our grandkids think that they believe we're the fun police. Okay, you are the fun police. It is your job to keep me from having fun. Okay, I want to have fun, but you won't allow me to have fun. And I remember I used to always ask one of my kids, well, what type of fun do you want to have? And they say, I don't know. Okay, well, you tell me what type of fun you want to have, and then we'll decide whether or not we're gonna keep you from having the fun. Okay, um, and no, we're not the fun police. But let me share this. We as parents can see what you don't see as children, as grandchildren. We as parents can see because we know people that perhaps we grew up with, perhaps we've known from school, known from the neighborhood. We know individuals that were going down the same path that you want to go down, and you're heading down, and you don't see what we see. We see, okay, danger. We see destruction. We see that you may not be able to get out of this if you head down this path. There's certain things you just don't want to. There's certain things you just don't want to do. I remember one time going to back to Philly. I remember one time going back to Philly, and a person I knew that sold drugs. I don't know if they're still selling drugs, but I knew someone that this person sold drugs. Okay, so I rode up into Philly and had a decent car, and they seen the car. They said, "Oh man," they said, "Ah man, can you take me down 56th Street?" No. You're not gonna take me down for this? No. Man, are you kidding? No. Why? Look, I know you have drugs on you. You know you have drugs on you. The whole neighborhood knows you have drugs on you. If we get stopped by the police, because the police will look, and the police know you have drugs on you. They'll see you sitting in my car, out of state tags, and they will think, here is his dealer. Here is his connect. We're gonna lock both these fellas up. And they'll turn around and pull me over, and then when you see us get pulled over, you done took your stash and put it under my chair. And now, of course, I'll be able to get out of it because I'm approved. Proved it wasn't my drugs. Okay, because drugs not in my system. Drugs not. Look, plus I have a few connections. I'll be able to prove that wasn't my drugs. But I'm not going through that. So no, I'm not taking you down the 56th Street. I'm sorry. Why? Can't do it. So so I made that decision to do that. Not because I think I'm better than anyone. No, I'm different. I've made different decisions. I've made different choices. My actions are different. So if I had done that, then and then get pulled over, then I'd have to look. I wouldn't have anyone to blame but myself. Then I'd have to look in the mirror and say, "Boy, you messed up." Okay, so I I count myself as being wiser than that. Okay, so what I'm sharing with you is that even if you're put in a similar situation, you know that that person that you've known for all these years, and you get reports, you've moved away, and you get reports that they are still selling drugs, and they're still doing whatever they're doing, and then you see them, you're excited to see, hey man, hadn't seen you in years, yeah man, how you doing? Oh man, that's your car, yeah man, hey man, you might mind giving me a ride? I do mind. Why? Because man, I'm not going to jail fooling with you. Oh man, come on, man. Nobody, dude, come on now, man. Come on. You think I haven't getting work? Come on, man. You my boy. Come on. Now you know you got drugs on you, man. Come on. Or you probably got an illegal gun on you. Man, I'm not. No. Sorry. Love you, man. Okay. See you later. Good seeing you. You know. Good. All right, man. And then go about your business. Okay. I know someone years ago. And I forget the person's name. I wouldn't even mention their name, but years ago, this person they're going down south to see some relatives. And while they were down there, you know, this person was down there. He had a good time with his relatives. He gets on the road. He gets on the road to leave down from this state. He gets on the road. He's in his car. He's going to the interstate. He starts thinking, "Wow, man, the party just started. Let me go back." So he turns his car around, goes back to the party. Okay, ends up in a situation, okay, and then ends up serving 15 years. Yeah, ends up serving 15 years. And I've thought about this gentleman over the years. I had met him once, and I thought about it. I said, "Wow, dude, if you had only kept going, if you had only kept going and heading back to Detroit, you would not have had to do." And I know if I thought about it, if I thought about it, I know he thought about it. 15 years. No way on God's green earth. Consequences. So he had to pay the consequences. They're tough, they're expensive. Um, young people, and you may be young, you may be 10, 11 years old. I mean, the fella here, I think he was, I'm not going to call his name, I think he was 11 years old up in the Pontiac area and shot someone and ended up having to do a 10-year thing. He got out with either he's 8 to 21, I think he was when he got out of prison. Okay, so then he got out and then went back. Okay, why? Because man, you go in jail, you go to jail that young at 11 years old. They put him in the youth home. You're around criminals and you're that young. You don't have benefit of the wisdom of your parents. You don't have benefit of the wisdom of those who are trying to teach. Those of you that are trying to train. Those of you that's trying to help you. So went to jail, came out 21, did something. They had it on the news because now no matter what you do, man, these folk gonna follow you. Okay, they're gonna follow you. And so he did something else. There he is as a grown man standing before the judge. Come on. No, consequences. So I'm saying this to not just the young people, but to the adults as well. Your actions have consequences, and sometimes these consequences are more than I want to pay, more than you want to pay. Um, think about it before you do it. Uh, I always say that you the old saying that you think twice and speak once. Um, uh, think about what you're going to say before you say it. Say something that's meaningful, and just use wisdom. So this is Archbishop John Lewis Jones Jr. trying to give you these words of wisdom, uh, trying to tell you that when your actions have consequences, in other words, think about your actions before you do something crazy, before you do something stupid. Think about it. Think about what you're going to do if we do it. And if it goes against, if it is a criminal activity, don't do it. Don't do, don't do anything that is illegal. Don't do anything that's going to get you locked up. Don't do anything that's going to get you put in jail. And then there you are crying for mercy, from the judge. Because if I'm a judge, I'm gonna say, okay, well, did you know that you were committing a crime? Yes, Your Honor. Okay, well, why did you do it? Those are the questions I'm gonna ask you as a judge. Okay, well, why did you? I want to hear. And if his attorney starts speaking, attorney, please shut up. I want to hear your client. I want to hear. I want to hear this person that's now standing before me on some dumb stuff. I want to hear their answer as to why they did it. You knew what you were doing. Well, yes, Your Honor. Well, why did you do it? Well, you thought you were gonna get away with it, didn't you? Yeah, I thought I could get away with it. In 2022, with all these cameras all over the place, thought you're gonna get away with it. Okay, come on. And then these judges have decisions to make whether or not they're going to have mercy on you. But come on, especially in our community. And I'm saying this, especially in our community, the Black community, the African American community. Please, let's be wise. You say everybody. You see the day in which we live now. Okay, and if you get stopped by the police, and now I'm putting something on TikTok with regards to shooting because I'm thoroughly again, like I said last week, I'm just confused as to why all these brothers are getting shot in the back, they unarmed or whatever. You know, man, that's just crazy. That's just crazy. Yeah. So whether we comply or don't comply, they still want to shoot us. Okay. So whether I can tell you, I'll put the dude, come my boy, Secret Service said, hey, do 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Yeah. If you do 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, no matter what the fella that was in Minnesota was reaching for his wallet and got shot. Come on now. So just, you know, try to do the best you can. If you get stopped by the police, just remain calm. Remain calm. First thing, you stop by the police, pray. Pray. I'm telling you, pray. And I got a son, plus I had grandsons. Pray. Okay? This Archbishop John Lewis Jones Jr. Next week, and I want to announce our 25th annual Holy Convocation that's going to take place at St. Mark Church of God in Christ Social Hall, beginning Tuesday, July 19th through Friday, July 22nd. Meet us there every night, every evening, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday afternoon, Thursday morning, I believe, is our 25th um, celebration, our 25th year celebration, our luncheon. We're celebrating our 25th year with the luncheon on Thursday morning. Thursday night, um, meet us there for service. Friday morning, I will be preaching. Friday morning at 10 a.m. And then Friday night, it's a culmination. Tuesday night, Pastor Carshawn Jones will be preaching. Pastor Carshawn Jones will be preaching from right here in Michigan. He'll be preaching Tuesday night. Wednesday night, um, Elder Julius Warren will be preaching from right here in Detroit. Both of these are young men, two fantastic preachers. On Thursday night, our own sainted mother, Mother Adele B. Dickinson, will be ministering to us on Tuesday night. Tuesday morning at the luncheons, I'm sorry, Thursday. Thank you, producer Sister Miko. Thank you. Thursday morning. Let me announce that uh, Elder Nakia Richardson, and I know she's gonna get mad because she's married now. I forgot her last name, but it is Nakia Richardson. Please, hubby, don't get mad. I know she's married now. Her last name is not Richardson, but she will be ministering on at our luncheon on Thursday morning. Thursday night, our own Sainted Mother. Thursday night, our own Sainted Mother, Mother Adele B. Dickinson, will be ministering to us on Thursday night. Again, Friday morning, I'll be ministering at 10 a.m. On Friday night, all the way from Cleveland, Ohio, that very famous preacher, the Bishop Brandon L. Owens from Cleveland, Ohio, will be preaching. He is a um, a YouTube phenom, great orator, great preacher. We'll be preaching on Friday night and closing out our 25th year celebration. So meet us there next week. Meet us next week, starting next Tuesday. Meet us there at 13,000 Joy Road. That's 13,000 Joy Road at the corner of Joy Road and Sorrento at 7:30 p.m. There's going to be great preaching. There's going to be great singing. There's a river walk, I think, scheduled for Wednesday morning, with everyone going down to the Detroit River and walking. Um, there's an Adjutants Academy that will be going on next week. Adjutants Academy that will be happening next week. We're going to have a fantastic time. We're expecting saints from all across the country, amen, to join us on next week. So this is Archbishop John Lewis Jones Jr. Thanking you for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and